Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out A Night in the Woods by developer Amy Dentata. This is a first-person experimental narrative-driven game. I would put it somewhere in the vein of like a pseudo-horror/adventure type experience where we're going to be exploring a suburb that seems to be rather dilapidated and abandoned for reasons, at least at first, that the player would say are unknown. So let's take a quick look at the instructions here. Press W and S to move forward and back, A and D to move sideways. Use the mouse or touchpad to look around. Okay. Well, fairly standard stuff for a first-person game. This is a Unity game, by the way. I'm completely lost, just great. So I have found my way to, I guess, this area. Sort of turned into this area, rather. It was probably wandering around on the road, and then noticed that there were some houses around and figured, well, I'm freezing cold. I should find kindling for a fire. So that is my mission for now. And the narrative is actually advanced through finding this kindling, which actually happens to be books and pieces of paper and newspaper and things that we'll be able to use to burn. So kind of a nice little, combination of things. But the thing that really drew me to this one right away is the sense of ambience and how little actually needs to be said to make a pretty big impression. The fact that the art style is also pretty fantastic as well. It's rather lo-fi. But it definitely gets the job done, and it actually scared the pants off me in a few ways. Like, even though there's not a whole lot that's directly confronting you, really doesn't take much most of the time. So it said that there's something here, but it's too dark to see anything. So as you walked up the street, you probably noticed there's a big blue flashlight in this house, which we're going to make sure we grab right away. Kind of an important staple of any game that we're going to be spending a lot of time in the dark. So this seems to be an abandoned house. The windows knocked out, and was a board there. It looks like it's been torn down. Makes you wonder what exactly is doing all of this. Well, it's rather nerve-wracking to say the least. So let's see what this is. Literacy rates dropped to record low. Senator blames video games. Well, that's a reasonable assumption, I would say. So let's pick up this newspaper by left-clicking. You can see it converts to kindling in our inventory there on the left. And then print news sees resurgence among nations poor, renaissance, or sign of the times. Interesting. One thing that I have to say really struck me as unexpected, to say the least, would be the presentation of the UI here. It's definitely seemed to be kind of harkening back to some of the old school, like, turn-based single-screen RPGs where you would, like, advance through a maze one click at a time or something like that. The fact that the actual gameplay is taking place in a screen within the screen, and then the UI is actually sort of around the edges is sort of an interesting that I haven't seen done recently, actually. So as a note, hey Karen, if you see Tin Man, let me know the usual method. I'm sick of his shit. To think I used to be an accountant. Meg. Alright, so that's also rather cryptic and a little bit unnerving. I hope none of these are important. Yeah, as I convert them into Ash, or soon to be Ash, rather. So let's keep looking around. This is definitely more exploratory, at least at the beginning, when we don't really know what we're doing yet. So this is a pretty small area. Did I not pick this up by accident? Apparently not. Oh, crap, I didn't really... It's something about survival. Let's check this gate out and see if this does anything. Door is locked. I need a key to open it. Fairly standard stuff. Alright, so we'll keep our eyes open for keys. That lens flare, it's rather ominous, I have to say, and the way the atmosphere is, the way that it's sort of, the tone goes, and the slow pace at which things start, really sort of puts me on edge. And if I ever saw something rather threatening going on, like red eyes in the woods or something, I would be absolutely terrified by this. Probably more so than about 90% of the other games that I play. And it's something to do with the fact that the art style is like pseudo-realistic, like it's sort of going for realistic, but then it's also a bit lo-fi as well, so it lets your imagination fill in some of the details. And it's also a little bit hard to make out some details, you know, being night and being lo-fi, those two things together sort of result in that situation. So economists say job market back on track. Sorry, I took forever to read that one. Let's keep going. I see lots and lots of scraps all around, so we're going to make sure we grab all of them. There is a magic number, I believe, that we're working toward here. Oh, what did that say? When delivery drones attack, the militarization of next-day air. So this is, I guess, the crux of what's going on here. The real issue is, I guess this is sort of based off of current events, that the fact that it was revealed that Amazon was working on these delivery drones to drop off deliveries, maybe those had gone a bit wild. Luddite generation first to own fewer smartphones. Lazy, don't care about success. So there's actually some class issues going on now, which is rather interesting. It's nice to read into these sort of stories a little bit sometimes when you're creating something, even a short game like this. It's kind of cool to see the way that things can have like a trickle-down effect on the imaginary characters in the world that you've created. I think that's a really cool thing, and it's a lot of, emergence, or immersion rather, that you could take away from something. Guess what the Tin Man did? It was a terrifying piece of verbiage to read on top of some literature here. What does it say? No expectation of privacy on internet, says Fed. Law-abiding citizens safe. That's a fallacious argument. People don't realize it, but it is. So I think this is all... Oh, there's another one over in this corner here. Shopping list, milk, bread, new kitchen knife, bleach. Okay, so some sort of a shopping list. Wait, did I really just walk past that? Banks move to eliminate physical currency. It's convenient, good for nature. Yeah. So you can see there's a bit of an undertone here, which I'm actually kind of agreeing with and kind of find reasonably interesting to have depicted in a game. I don't think there's been too many people making arguments like that. Why is this area abandoned? These are perfectly good shelters. Yeah, that makes you wonder, doesn't it? The best of vintage Tumblr porn edition. Oh, goodness gracious. Meg, remember when it used to be a suburb? Or when this used to be a suburb. How long ago was that? I don't even remember anymore. So personal notes are showing up, and we're making our way to a pretty creepy part of behind these houses now, where I'm kind of worrying that something could easily jump out. Oh, we found the key. Good. Key has been grabbed. We've opened up the gate, and I guess that's sort of just a shortcut back to the other side around the houses. Not sure if there are other uses for it, but we will keep looking around. Opinion in defense of the federal anti-protest law. Okay. Yeah, can't really have an anti-protest law. Kind of a bad idea. If you steal this box, you are a bad person and don't understand humans survive better in groups. Okay. For some reason, that typography was very hard for me to read. Creepy that we found this, like, this little spot where we could sneak through. I guess the line of thinking there and why I find that creepy is like, well, if you found this spot that was sort of out of the beaten path, maybe someone else found that spot as well and also thought it was equally off the beaten path. And maybe there's someone holed up there or something. So now that we have this key, and we have a reasonably decent amount of kindling, pretty sure I got all of it out of this house, right? Yes, we did. I think we should be able to open this gate now. Oh, there we go. And everything's automated, nobody's employed. So this isn't just about the drones delivering packages from Amazon. This is just about the general state of affairs and privacy laws and things like that. Consumer market shrinks, profits still soar. Is the lower class even necessary? Very creepy questions to be asking. So there's, a whole undertone of the political element here, which I don't want to get too into because I know how polarizing that is, but it is certainly cool to see this stuff being represented in a game. Thousands die in Labor Day protests. Peaceful citizens need not fear. Oof. My anti-establishment hairs on the back of my neck are standing up right now. Let's keep looking around. Oh, I see a path with a slightly different colored bit of ground. Oh, I found another one. The tech takeover of public services. Some cry foul, some cry freedom. It's incredible how when things sort of start to look the same, with the ground all being a similar shade of gray, how much something being a little bit more brown or orange might stand out. Oh, I can actually jump. I didn't even notice that I could jump. And, oh, there's more stuff up here, too. Riots emerge as anarchism seduces homeless. Police crack down on parasites. And my number has just changed to 20, and it's now green. This should be enough to start a fire. Now I need a safe place to burn it. Okay, I'll keep that in mind as I continue to walk around. I don't know how Tin Man found our shelter, and I swear I didn't tell anyone. If you live on to read this, I'm sorry. P.S. F the police. Well, probably a reasonable sentiment given the situation as far as I can tell. Where do I want to jump down here? Oh, there's actually more papers down at the bottom here. Oh, crap, I forgot to read that one by accident. Sorry. That's my fault. I got a little bit too click-happy. And this is a very mysterious tunnel all of a sudden. You know, I can turn off my flashlight, but I'm kind of wondering if there's any reason for me to do so. Given that as soon as I do, well, at least in this area, there's a little bit of lighting, but if I turn back over here, everything gets really creepy all of a sudden. And I don't really like having my light off for very long. Where is that tunnel again? I think that's probably where I should be going next. I'm really hoping this isn't ramping up to some sort of a jump scare or something. I'm probably not going to be able to take it. Something about how abandoned and how bleak and desolate everything is with the somewhat familiarized looking areas to it. You know, you feel like you kind of get why this is all going on. This ramp doesn't make sense. Well, that's not a thing you want to ever hear. You're right, though. It really doesn't make sense. It's still going? Yeah, I can't really think of a reason architecture-wise where there would be a really long ramp like this leading up to whatever this is. The procedural architect with a primer on 3D printing. And one more in the corner here. Violent protesters destroy Library of Congress. Hackers erase most of web. This is certainly a pretty dark future. And what can we see out here? Oh my. I guess these are all the lights off in the distance. That is really creepy. Sometimes a minimalistic approach can make a way huger statement than if this had been really well, like, in a detailed way articulated. Not to say that it hasn't been articulated, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say, that sometimes having things look a little bit more lo-fi can actually make a bigger point. This is really creepy. So I guess I'll start my fire now. Bless my luck, I could light a fire in this barrel. A glorious flame takes hold. And it sounds like we're being greeted to a little bit of a theme here. And we now have the option to take a rest in our sleeping bag that we seem to have found. I've hit the jackpot, so wow, that's actually a pretty cool little theme. I wonder if I can jump up this street light. No. Also, why is there a light up here like this? It's very strange. I'm not sure much of this makes a lot of sense. But maybe that's part of why I find it so interesting. I guess that's part of why I always like the Silent Hill series too, just considering like it takes all these chunks of things and makes architecture that doesn't make sense and all of that. But I guess I'll go take a rest in the sleeping bag and see what happens next. I hope I can survive the night. It's nice having these little moments where we can hear from the actual character. So we have three options. We can wake up, we can restart, or we can quit. Why would I want to restart is my question. I guess wake up? I'm too restless to sleep. Looks like everything's pretty much the same. It seems like I just couldn't sleep and now I'm just going to be able to go back into the game world. One would think, though, things might change if we did that, so maybe I should wrap things up around this point. I am curious, though, but I think this is probably the best point where I should stop. Yeah, I think we will do that. So this has been a night in the woods. Very, very cool, very atmospheric and creepy in a way that I'm not really sure I've seen a lot of other games approach. And it's unsettling, and I just can't quite put my finger on what exactly it is that's making me quite this freaked out. There hasn't been actually a single thing that should make me want to freak out as much as it has made me. It's just the tension, I suppose, and a good level of suspense, maybe combined with these light flares and the lo-fi graphics. I don't know. It's really cool. Anyway, I hope you check this one out. Link's going to be in the description. If you want to go download it, it is free, and hopefully you can go find some things that maybe I missed in my rather cursory exploration of the game world here. You know, I tried to be careful with what I was looking for, but it seemed like, I don't know, some of these boundaries to the level geometry might be a little bit squishy, although maybe not so much here. This is actually pretty strict with the collision. As you can tell, I can't actually walk much off the street. But anyway, I think you guys should just go check it out. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm very interested in hearing your own perspectives on this. And if there is a lot more to this that I haven't seen yet, well, I'd absolutely love to play on. So, with that, I will leave you for another day. Aside from just the game, though, in the description, if you want to check out my other information, I've got my Twitter, my Facebook, and my Indie Impressions site, of course, which you can go check out for over 600 more episodes in this series. So feel free to do so. Leave me some support in the comments if you don't mind. I do appreciate the conversation, keeping it going. If you don't mind, that would be really great. And hopefully we'll come back again tomorrow, because new episodes go up every single day. as they have for nearly 2 years now. So we will continue that on with your support, and I hope to catch you back again tomorrow. So have a lovely night, and thank you very much for watching.